Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where OP found out that her mother was actually cheating on her dad for 25 years. Let's begin. My fiance is sexually unattracted to me. Should I break off the wedding? Posted by Reddit user Dinglebop.
Hi all, this about me and my fiance. Some backstory. We met in college when she was a freshman and I was a sophomore. We have been together since and have gone through our share of ups and downs. Sex was fantastic for the first few years. She was an athlete and I was a gym guy, so there was lots of sexual tension to go. Now, natural, intimate sex is gone unless I bother the shit out of her and point out how we've gone weeks to months. Nothing I've tried has worked. This has been happening for the latter part of 2 years. Her thoughts on lingerie are we grew out of that. She is only 25. The fuck do you mean we grew out of it? The cracks began to show when we were having a disagreement about this and I point blank asked if she was unattracted to me. I said I wasn't mad, but I needed her to be honest so we can set expectations for the relationship. She blurted out she thinks she is asexual. I mentioned that I'm fine with that, but I need sex and maybe we should consider the possibility that I'm allowed to fuck other people safely to fill that void. Let's say it did not end well, lol. Next is the sex toys. Again, no shaming. But she hides it and is embarrassed by a vibrator that she herself bought. I've asked if we could incorporate during intimacy, but that was shot down. This follows it up that when I was cleaning up a mess of hers and putting her stuff away, in her work bag I found the vibrator. Just straight weird. It's the female equivalent of me carrying a pocket pussy in the bag that is often a few feet from my boss. She knows sex is important to me. However, I think she is just stringing this along as long as she can. Anytime I bring it up, she gets embarrassed and either gets angry or cries or both. What do? I am in a sexless relationship at 27 with someone who is physically unattracted to me. No kids. I've got an appointment with a shrink and I'm going to also get some advice from her as well. I make very good money and have a great living situation, so I believe she is taking advantage of me. But perhaps I've been blind and only now waking up. Edit. I see a recurring criticism of me bothering the shit out of her. I'm being a bit facetious. Generally I ask every few weeks or so. As of today I don't think I've asked for sex for at least 2 weeks. Probably 3 at this point since it's the weekend.
OP. A relationship is a two-way street. She doesn't get to benefit from you being a man, but you can't benefit from her being a woman. That's just plain selfishness. If I'm being real with you, I'm pretty sure she's being pumped by some Chad she met in God knows where. Don't do this to yourself, man. You're young. You have no kids. You're not married. You have nothing to worry about. Just leave. There is no reason to make yourself miserable over this woman. And now for today's second story. I might not be my dad's child. Posted by Reddit user Corvus Blackmore.
I don't know if this is allowed here, but I could really use some advice from this community. Background. My mom at the very least was emotionally cheating on my father for at least 25 years. Of my 3 biological siblings, I look odd to the point that an ex of mine said you're probably a milkman's baby. Because my features are so drastically different than my siblings. My mom has always said that it's because I look like my great-grandmother on my grandfather's side. My mom left my dad, blaming him in the entirety for her misery in around 2019, saying she regretted all 28 years of their relationship. That's when they had started dating. My dad asked if she regretted having had their kids, me and my siblings, and she didn't respond. She later invited me out to a lunch date and explained herself to me, telling me things that my dad had previously told me in confidence because he needed someone to talk to because he doesn't have many friends. She lied about trying to get him to go to counseling, lied about having tried to talk things through, lied about warning him. When she left him, she was already dating her ex of 30 years prior and lied to us about it. She stayed close friends with the ex and his son, because his wife cheated on him with a very popular musician celebrity that she left him for and stayed with until said celebrity died. During that time, the ex was living with us with his young son I think before I was born, and my dad was working for months at a time overseas. I know for a fact that they'd often be alone together because his son reached out to me when he found out that our parents had gotten back together and told me that he had a horrible realization, that he could remember times where they'd be alone together during that time frame. The divorce process between his parents was vile to say the least. His mom used the celebrity's money to endlessly fight his dad for 100% custody until my mom's ex was flat out broke and had to give up. I found out that I actually arrived a month late and that the ex has always thought of me as the daughter he never had. Even gave me his first electric guitar. I didn't think about it too much when I was 13, and he gave it to me, but now that I'm an adult, it's so weird that he'd give me his first guitar. Current issue. There's so many red flags that I haven't gotten to, but at a recent doctor's visit, I found out that my blood type was never on file, which could really only happen if my mom hadn't added it to my records when she had me swapped to my current doctor, as I don't have my childhood records. I asked my mom what my blood type was and she said she didn't know. She never had my blood tested. My mom's blood type is O, meaning that it would be standard practice for my blood to be tested at birth. Another red flag to this was that my mom banned me from getting my ancestry done. She said it was because my older sister had already done it, and that was good enough, even though siblings can have drastically different DNA profiles. I'm absolutely terrified that I'll find out that my dad isn't really my bio dad. I love him to death, and he's already been through so much the past 3 years because of my mom. I can't just ask my mom because she'll never tell me the truth. In every situation, she's always the victim. I want to tell my dad all of this, but he's still having a hard time grappling with the fact that my mom has never been a good person and had been using him since day one for his money. If I find out that my dad isn't my bio dad, should I tell him? I'm worried about how it will affect him since his world has already been turned upside down so many times, and I'm worried that he won't want a relationship with me or resent me. I've been avoiding this for a while, and I'm wondering if I just shouldn't bother and leave it as is and not get my blood tested. Now for OP's first update. I have decided that I will be getting my blood tested and my DNA tested on the same day in about a month or two time. If the results of the tests come back and my mom did have more than just an emotional affair like she claims, I will call my dad and inform him ASAP, which may not be as quickly as I get my results, as he's out of country in a different time zone for work as he was for most of my parents' relationship. I'm still terrified out of my mind what the possible results could mean for my family, especially for my dad if my suspicions are correct. My dad has been in therapy since before my parents separated, but I worry that's not enough. Part of me keeps telling me to wait longer to get the tests done, but I think if I do this later in life, it'd end up pulling open an old scar and just making a whole new wound. A bit of a rant. I recently found out that my parents' divorce is now finalized as of this year. My mom was dancing around leading my dad on that she might still change her mind about wanting the divorce for years, which kept him clinging to that hope. I found out more about the things she'd done that's caused my dad damage, and he still loves her and hangs on to hope that still one day she might come back. I know that even though she swears she didn't cheat physically, I'm sure she at the very least conspired with her ex that she would leave my dad and get back together with him. The separation and divorce came less than a month after my mom took a trip with her ex to a concert. She swears nothing happened, but she's lied to get her way since I was young, and she keeps singing this tune even though my dad says he believes her and no one has questioned her on it. I pretend I'm not, but I'm so angry and heartbroken. I don't get why she can't just give everyone, including herself, peace of mind and give our family the whole truth so that we can move on. And now, for OP's update 2 years later. Hi, it has been a while. A lot has happened in life since my last update. Things got busier and busier in life. I had to put off the test, and then some really shitty things happened, and then some sweet. I originally intended to get a DNA test, but I chickened out.
Weakness of any kind completely revolts me.
I just couldn't and can't do it, and I most certainly can't do it now for the small chance that I am not his biological child. I can't put him through that. My dad told me that while digging through an old computer, he came across an old file that couldn't be opened due to the age of it, so he downloaded a program that allowed him to open the file, and was surprised to see that there were emails, love letters, and poems that she had written to the man she left him for. These files date back to the mid-90s to early thousands, the time frame between my sister and some time after my birth, the last child born. In these letters, he didn't divulge the content directed towards her ex, and honestly I don't want to know. She's talking about how sterile of a marriage she was in, how my dad didn't actually love her, how she didn't actually love him, wondering why she was with him, that she had to be fake around him, that she couldn't upset him so she had to pretend to be someone else, that she was miserable and unhappy, that she was staying with him for the kids, etc. My dad is now completely out of love with her, but he is now completely broken. He is not depressed luckily, but I believe his heart is completely shattered. Me and my siblings' entire childhoods, every happy moment we had as a family is now tainted by the idea that she was miserable the whole time, that everything he thought was happy was actually awful and resented. These letters pretty much confirm that she was with him for money and stability, and after doing some math, it seems that she and her ex had only been broken up for a few months before she and my dad had met. Everything he thought he knew was flipped on its head. Everything about this has reignited a rage in my heart. My dad has already gone through so much. I don't want to put him through further devastation. My dad, after finding these files, printed them, gave them to her in an envelope, and attached a letter to it that told her not to speak to nor contact him ever again. He has since started avoiding her like the rotten soul she is. She, as per usual, is pretending nothing happened, that she has done no wrong. I called a friend and talked to him about doing the test. He is my closest friend. I consider him family. He said that knowing me, if I do this test and I find out my dad isn't biologically my dad, that it will destroy me. In the end, it will only cause more pain. He's right.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
My dad has already been dealt a critical blow. I can't contribute to his pain further. She stole his future and past from him and tainted both. If I get a test just for the sake of knowing, my family will still find out about it, as we are always actively searching for missing family on DNA databases. I don't care about what kind of backlash that woman would get if that news came out. Fuck her, let her finally suffer consequences. But I don't think my dad could handle it. While it may not be my place to say that he can't handle it, I don't know if my own heart could take seeing him in more pain. Just thinking about me and my siblings' happy childhood memories is painful enough for him. While I know regardless if he is in fact not my biological father, that at the end of the day, he is still my dad and always will be, I don't want to add that pain onto his heart.
Oh my god!
I feel it may be selfish of me to not do this test, but I ultimately believe that it is for the best. I do see similarities in his face and mine, between his family members and mine. While I do not look at all like my siblings, it's still possible. Not surprisingly, she is also no longer with the ex and is seeing a new man that she refuses to call her boyfriend, as she is too old to have a boyfriend. I think that woman is completely dead in my heart now. For some reason, for years, I've been holding on to this microscopic hope that someday she will redeem herself and be a real mother. That hope is delusional, I know. But it was there, and I think it's finally gone. She is dead to me, but I am so incredibly angry about how she has completely broken my dad. He didn't deserve any of this pain, and there's nothing I can do about it. In conclusion to all this, I am his daughter, whether or not he is biologically my dad. I believe that in this world we choose our family, and genetics do not earn you a right to be one's family. Family is who you would shed blood for, and so my blood is fundamentally his blood. I am hoping that this painful chapter of my life can finally close. I have just had a major life change. My dad is in town helping me. I intend to spend more time with my dad. Hopefully, we can make new memories without her, and his retirement years won't be overshadowed by her and her narcissism. I hope my family can heal.
OP, didn't you mention in your previous post that you are angry at your mom because she refused to tell the truth, therefore hindering your family from truly moving on? Remember that? Well, it looks like you're doing the exact same thing your mother did, withholding information from your family, particularly your father. You're correct though. We choose the people we consider family. Your dad will always be your dad no matter what a test says. But OP, he deserves to know the truth. At least give him that kindness. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.